Next type network, which is based on the architecture, is called server network. The client is a computer or the client server network relationship between the computer network. One system acts as a server and another rest of another system acts as a client. Basically, the client is a computer running program that requests to the server an individual workstation in the given client. So this is your client. A number of client is available. And what is meant by server? Basically, it is simply a computer that makes the network resources available for the client and provides the services to the other computer when they are requested to the particular data. Basically, the local area network, which is based on the client server application or the client server relationship. You can construct the client server network by using the one or more powerful network computer as a server and the rest of considered as a client. The client server network typically uses the directory service to store the information about the network and users. Means there is a particular directory service through which we have to maintain the client's data and server data. Basically, the client server network is a one in which all available resources such as a file, directory, shared devices or the different applications or this centralized information, or if we want to manage the information of, if we want to take the backup of that particular client, so we can easily apply or easily prepared with the help of client server technique. Basically, in the client server, the server is provided the security and administrative control of the entire network. So it maintained by the server. So the client server network processing take place or the task is divided into the two parameters. First one is a client and next one is a server. The client services such as a file store, printing server delivers the particular information to the client, and server is a particular central computer which is more powerful than client because it having the different properties for maintaining the backup or to administrate the particular network. So all which basically allows the client to access its software database, which is called as a server, and server computer typically are more powerful than the client computer. No users can access the resource of the servers until it has been authenticated or until it can be permitted for accessing them. Means there is a number of password. If we consider the example of Facebook application, for example, server is there for maintaining or for storing the information or the data backup of the particular Facebook application. If you want to access our profile, so if we want to access profile, then we can enter the ID and password. If the password is matches with the server database, so only that time it is considered as an authenticated person. So only that time we have to open the particular Facebook, else he generates some error message or particular authentication message to the end user. So in client server application, we use the operating system to preparing the server. So we can use any common operating system for as a Windows 7 or particular for the client, and but the server is loaded with the specific operating system. For example, Microsoft Windows Server 2008 and all the things we have to specific for the client server network. Means the server having the specific operating system for operating the server application or server properties. Basically, how works the client and server when he communicate with each other. This is your server, this is your client. This is the request. This is the response, which is depend on the request. The client passes the request on the server machine when it wants to be access some centralized resource which is available in the server. So server respond to the particular client and send the signal according to the client. So the software runs the client side, which is called as a client program. This software configure the particular computer which is act as a client. And similarly, the software which is run on the server side. So this is also considered as a server program. So it configure the particular computer which is act as a server. So with the help of this program, they both are communicate with each other. So this is the concept of client server network. It having the centralized backup system. So this is the advantage. It having the high reliability. It having the centralized file storage is there. So it reduce the cost because the sharing of the hardware and software. So a number of resources we can share with the help of client server network. So there is no need to buy the multiple resources like printer or expensive resources we cannot buy maximum. So the single password allows the access to all the shared resources with the help of client server application. There is no need to maintain the individual password for the every resources. Next one is it requires the administration. Professional administration is required. So costing of maintaining the server is quite high or difficult. So it requires a special network operating system for maintaining the client server. So it having also the high cost, or it having some dedicated hardware for client server application. This is also quite expensive as compared to peer to peer. This is the disadvantage of client server network. This is the concept of client server network, which is the type of network which is depend on the architecture.